Hello there everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how we can work with dates and times using Java. This serves as more of an introduction. We can work with local dates, times, date times, and UTC timestamps. Let's get the date right now using local date. We will create an object of local date. Let's name this date for short. Equals access the class of local date. Call the now method. If I was to output our date object, we'll print our date. That's going to give you the current date, whatever it is right now. I'm filming this video December 17th, 2024. Post the date that you're watching this in the comment section down below. That is local date. There's local time to get the time. Let's replace date with time, local time.now, and rename this as time, because that's more appropriate. Print the time. Currently, the time for me is a little after 9 a.m. 9 hours, 29 minutes, 52 seconds, and a bunch of milliseconds. To retrieve both the date and the time, you can use datetime. Local datetime. Local datetime.now method. Print the current date time. And currently for me, it is December 17th, 2024, at about 9:30 in the morning. You can also use UTC time. That's a little different. We will create an instant object, instant equals access the class of instant, called the now method, and print our instant object, which will give us the current date and time in UTC. December 17th, 2024, in UTC time, I think that's 3 p.m. It's in military time. That's how to get either the current date time, or UTC timestamp. When you output the current date and or time, it's kind of ugly and hard to read. Well, we can write a custom format to display our date time. Here's how. Here we'll create a custom format for our date time. We will need the current date time, local date time. We will name this datetime equals access the class of local datetime, called the now method. Then we'll need to create a formatter object. Datetime formatter. We'll name this formatter equals datetime formatter. I'm just going to copy it. Call the of pattern method, and then we're going to pass in a string. Let me move the cursor so you can see this. Within the string, we will write pattern letters. What is the pattern in which we would like to display our date and our time? If you go to the official Java documentation, there's an extensive list. Here's a few beginner-friendly ones. For the day, type 2 Ds, dash for the month, 2 capital M's, for the year, dash YYY. Y. 4 Ys. This will display the day, the month, and the year. I'm an American, so we display the month first, followed by the day. So I'm going to switch this around, but you can keep it as it originally was if you prefer. So that's how to display the date in that format. Month, day, year. Now for the time, you can do the following. For hours, do 2 capital H's, colon, minutes is 2 lowercase m's, colon, then for seconds, it's 2 lowercase s's. That is a good pattern. We will create a new string named newDateTime equals, take our current date time, it's an object, call the format method. We are going to pass in our formatter to format our date time to this pattern. Once we have our new date time, we're going to print it. Let's output our new date time, and it should be in that format. Yeah, that looks pretty good. December 17th, 2024, about 9 in the morning, 9:30, at least for me. Instead of getting the time and date right now, we can create a custom datetime object. Here's how. So we'll start with a local date. Local date, I'll name this object date, equals local date, we're accessing the class statically, we'll call the of method. Depending on the date you would like to create, we'll pass them in as arguments. Let's say I would like to pick Christmas of 2024. The first argument corresponds to the year. I will pick 2024. The next is for the month, 12 meaning December. Then the 25th of December. I'll type in 25. All right, just to test it, I'm going to output it. Let's print our date. The year is 2024, December 25th. You can also use date time. Let's switch local date to local date time. We need a few more arguments. So let's say noon on Christmas Day. That would be 12. For the minutes, 0. For the seconds, 0. Then let's print this again. Let's output our date. Well, technically it should be date time, but that still makes sense. Here's our date time. December 25th, 2024, at noon, 12 p.m. You can also compare dates too. Let's copy the snippet of code, paste it, rename the first date as date 1, the second date as date 2. For the second date, let's set that to New Year's Day, 2025. The month will be January, the 1st of January. At midnight, that would be 0. Let's print date 1 and then date 2. So we have Christmas, December 25th, 2024, and New Year's Day, January 1st, 2025. All right, now to compare dates, we can use the following. We'll use an if statement. Let's check if date 1, call the isBefore method. Dates have a built-in isBefore method. Pass in date 2. Is date 1 before date 2? And that is true. Let's output date 1 plus a string of is earlier than plus date 2. Let's check that. Our first date, Christmas, is earlier than New Year's, our second date. Else if date 1, let's just copy this. Date 1 is after date 2, then we'll output something different. Date 1 is later than date 2. So let's change date 1 to be January 2nd of 2025. The 2nd of January is later than New Year's Day, our second date. You can also check if they're equal. Let's add else if. Let me scroll down. Date 1 is equal to date 2. And then we'll say that they're equal. Date 1 is equal to date 2. Let's set these to be the same. New Year's Day at midnight. New Year's Day at midnight is equal to New Year's Day at midnight. This could be good for some sort of alarm clock, checking to see if two date times are equal. All right, everybody, so that is an introduction to working with dates and times using Java. Well, hello again, friends. Today I gotta explain anonymous classes in Java. So what is an anonymous class? It's a class that doesn't have a name, meaning it cannot be reused. It's when you want to add custom behavior without having to create a new class, because it can be really inconvenient to create a new class just for one object, if that one object is different from the rest, in one way or another. They're often used for one-time uses when utilizing features such as TimerTasks, the runnable interface, or callbacks. These are more advanced Java topics. So let me demonstrate why an anonymous class would be useful. Let's begin with this example, where we create a dog class. File, new, Java class. We will create a class of dog. Let's say that in this dog class, there's a single method, a speak method. Void speak. All we'll do is output the following. The dog goes woof. And then let's create a dog object. Dog equals new dog. We'll take our dog object, have it use its speak method, which will output the dog goes woof. So what if there's a unique kind of dog? It's different from the rest. Let's say it's Scooby-Doo. Now, Scooby-Doo, he doesn't speak dog. He speaks English. If I want Scooby-Doo to say something else, I'd have to override this method. So one option would be to create a new class. Again, this is me not using anonymous classes. You'll see their usefulness in just a moment. Let's create a new Java class. Let's create a talking dog class. I know it's kind of a weird example. So our talking dog class will extend the dog class, and then we'll override the speak method. Override void speak. Then we'll output the following. Scooby-Doo says, what's he usually say, Rutro or something? Rutro. I think that's how you spell it. But you get the idea. Going back to our main Java file, I can create a talking dog object. Talking dog equals new talking dog. That's a lot to type. And then I can have my talking dog use its speak method. Our dog goes woof, and Scooby-Doo, our talking dog, says rutro, like uh-oh. It is a lot of work to create a whole new class just for one unique object. Our talking dog of Scooby-Doo is the exception. So rather than creating an entirely new class just for this one object, just for Scooby-Doo, our talking dog, let's instead create an anonymous class. We'll take our talking dog class and delete it. Instead of creating a talking dog object, let's create another dog object, but it's going to have some unique features that set it apart from other dogs, such as the ability to speak English. Let's rename dog as dog1. We'll create another dog named dog2 equals new dog. Add a set of parentheses. Now, to create an anonymous class, you're going to add a set of curly braces. Then make sure there's that semicolon at the end. Within the set of curly braces, you can define any unique features or override any methods. Dog2 is going to be different from all other dogs with its speak method. So let's override that method. At override void speak, and then we'll say Scooby-Doo says rutro. Dog1 is going to speak, and dog2. The dog goes woof. Scooby-Doo says rutro. So instead of creating an entirely new class just for one dog, Scooby-Doo, we can create a normal dog and just override one of the methods using an anonymous class. So those are anonymous classes. It's a class that doesn't have a name, and it cannot be reused. If you need to reuse a class, you're better off just creating a new class. It allows you to add custom behavior without having to create a new class, which is what we did with the speak method. Anonymous classes are often used with TimerTasks, which we'll talk about in the next video, the runnable interface, and callbacks. So it is an important topic that you need to know, going forward at least. To create an anonymous class, after you construct an object, add a set of curly braces. Within that set of curly braces, you can define new behavior. And well, everybody, those are anonymous classes in Java. So yeah, I gotta talk about timers and timer tasks in Java. Timer is a class that schedules tasks at specific times, or periodically. Timer is useful for sending notifications, scheduled updates, or repetitive actions. When you need to schedule a task at a specific time, you can use the timer class. Now, timer task is the task that's going to execute when our timer says so. In order to use timer task, you're going to extend the timer task class, and then define your task. And we're going to be doing this by using anonymous classes, which we learned about in the last video. We'll begin by creating a timer. We need a timer to, well, keep track of the time. Let's say timer equals new timer. And then import these classes. I'm pretty sure you're used to importing these by now. We're going to select the timer from the utility package. Alright, we have our timer. Then we need a timer task. What are we going to do when the timer is up? Let's just say task. Timer task equals new timer task. Import the class. All right, so here's the situation. With our timer class, we have to implement the run method. To override the run method, we could create a child class from the TimerTasks class, but here's a better option. We're going to create an anonymous class. After the set of parentheses, we will add a set of curly braces, then add that semicolon to the end. Within this anonymous class, we can update or change the behavior of our TimerTask object. What we'll do is override the run method. Override. To overrun this method, this will be public void run. It's the run method. When we execute our task, what would we like to do? Let's output the following. Let's just say hello. So our task is to print hello, but we have to do it when our timer says so. So they work together. Let's say I would like to say hello after 3 seconds. To do that, we're going to take our timer, call the schedule method, and then there's 2 arguments we're going to pass in. Our task. What are we going to do? That's the first argument. The next argument is the delay. After how many milliseconds will we execute this task? I said 3 seconds, let's say 3,000 milliseconds then. After a delay of 3 seconds, 3,000 milliseconds, do your task that we're passing in. So after 3 seconds, we'll output hello. Or if this were 1,000 milliseconds, it would only take a second. Hello. You can also schedule at a fixed rate. Our timer can do things periodically. So let's repeat our task of saying hello. More than just once. So we have our delay. You know what? I'll set that to be 0. The next argument is for the period. What is the delay in milliseconds between repetitions? Let's say 1,000 milliseconds, so 1 second. Starting immediately, 0 milliseconds, print hello every 1,000 milliseconds, every second. Let's try it. Hello, 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 hello. I think you get the idea. Or you could add a delay. That's the second argument. Let's say after a delay of 3,000 milliseconds, 3 seconds, repeat this line of code every 1,000 milliseconds, 1 second. So now there's going to be a delay of 3 seconds. Then we output hello every 1 second. Now, how do you cancel this timer once it's started? Well, you can use the cancel method. Where should we add that exactly? Well, we can add that within our task. We'll need some sort of stopping condition, kind of like a while loop. So let's say this. I would like to say hello 3 times. I'll create a local variable of count. I'll set that to be 3. IntelliJ wants me to make this final. You don't have to. I'll keep it as is. So again, we are within our anonymous class. We're declaring a variable to use within the context of our task. Within the run method, we'll output hello, decrement our count by 1, count minus minus. Then, using an if statement, this is how we're going to escape. If our count is less than 0, then let's say task complete. And then to cancel the timer, we will take our timer object called the cancel method. All right, let's try it. I'll set the delay to be 0 so it starts immediately. Every 1,000 milliseconds, print hello. Whoops, it looks like that's less than or equal to 0. I fixed it. All right, so starting immediately, the delay is 0. Every 1,000 milliseconds, print hello, but only do it 3 times. And then we cancel the timer to stop, because we don't want to say hello forever. And here it is. 1, 2, 3, task complete. All right, everybody, so that is Timer and TimerTask. Timer is a class that schedules tasks at specific times or periodically. It's useful for sending notifications, scheduled updates, or other repetitive actions. TimerTask is the task you're going to perform when the timer says so. In the next video, we're going to use Timer and TimerTask to create a countdown timer. All right, everybody. So that is both timer and timer task in Java.